Earthlings, welcome to Beat Freaks. Today we have our very first R&B review for young Bryson Tiller's True to Self. It's going to be a really cool conversation, so let's get into it.
Alright, so I got into Bryson Tiller probably early 2016. I didn't listen to the album right away, unfortunately, with his last album, which was Trap Soul. Wish I did, because it's a great album. One of my favorites of 2015, I guess. But I listened to it straight through till this one came out. And I think I heard Exchange first single. Probably sent it to Niles. And we both started listening to that album. Both really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Trap Soul was really the first album of that kind of sound that I listened to. And actually, to be honest, at first I didn't really like it. I listened to it the first time through and it was just like, eh. And then later on, I went to go hang out with my friend and he played 502 Come Up, and I was just like, wait, I just listened to this album. Why do I appreciate this way more right now?
That's a really good song.
Than when I was listening to this album. So I gave it another listen and then started to fall in love from there. And now my interest in that kind of trap sound in general has grown over since then. So it's really exciting to do this review for sure.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this album probably since the beginning of the year when his first song dropped on his SoundCloud. What didn't make the album, only one of the singles is on the album that he dropped. But been looking forward to this for a while. And then the album came out, his sophomore album, True to Self. And for me, first impressions were not as good as Trap Soul. Yeah.
No, I mean, for sure, it was kind of hard to have a true first impression, to be honest. The album was kind of long, and initially I was like, okay, typically that turns me off, but with this album, I don't know if it does. It still makes me want to listen to all of it. But because it was so much, it was hard to really be like, how does this compare? Is it super good? The songs feel really good, but over time listening to the album more and more, it definitely became apparent that it was not as well put together as Trap Soul was, and the songs were all really good for the most part. There definitely was filler, a lot more filler than on Trap Soul, but still there was not a ton of stuff that I disliked.
To me, this felt more like a collection of songs than Trap Soul was, because it's 19 songs, which is a lot in this day and age. I mean, it's becoming more and more common. So my concept we'll talk about in another video. But see, this one, it just felt like take the songs you like and just listen to those. Don't listen to the whole album the way I felt with this one, because 19 songs is a lot. Granted, a lot of songs are shorter, a lot of them under 3 minutes. But it didn't have the cohesiveness that I think Trap Soul had compared to this. And
I think that a lot of the songs are shorter, and I think that's part of the problem with cohesiveness for me, because there's short songs on Trap Soul, but they kind of serve as bridges between other songs, where a lot of the songs here, they just feel like short ideas, and the way that it goes from one song to the next can be often very abrupt and doesn't feel like it has flow. It has at points, I'm not going to say that it doesn't feel smooth at points, but it definitely feels a lot looser than Trap Soul was.
I feel like at certain points, there's times where the song sounds so similar, I don't even know what to new track if I'm not paying attention to it. I'd be like, oh, this is part of the song, and I look, and it's 50 seconds into a new song, and I'm like, wait, when did that happen? So I think at the beginning of the album, I have that somewhere, but it just feels like a lot of similar sounds there, which isn't a problem, because he makes it sound well. It's something he does well, and Trap Soul did it well, and here, I guess the songs are good, don't get me wrong, a lot of them. I think there's 8 or so songs that I added to my playlist, but still, it's so
I definitely think that a big part of the album's disappointment is the sense that it is just this very similar. I remember when I was when we were getting hyped for the album initially, I was like, I kind of want to see him do something pretty different than what he did on his last album, and. I'm not even sure what I was really thinking of him doing. I was just hoping that he would have put that same amount of energy and attention to detail in the album, but with just kind of an expansion on the sound. And instead, we just kind of got an album that is an expansion of the sound. I feel like he explores a lot more different styles than he did on Trap Soul, while still kind of having that kind of cohesive sound that he has. but it doesn't feel particularly fresh. A lot of it feels like stuff we've heard before.
I agree.
Well, still good, just somewhat repetitive.
Yeah, and with this album, I'm gonna go out there and call this a sophomore slump for him because you hear that a lot with sports and music in general. And I think this Trap Soul was a good album. I think the expectations were very high for him, and he just didn't deliver those expectations. I'm not calling this a bad album at all.
Yeah,
I want to think this is a bad album.
Definitely
it's a good album.
Continue to come back to this.
Compared to Trap Soul, it's like down here, but Trap Soul's up here. And I think he'll have to work on that for a third album, try to bridge that gap between the two albums.
Yeah, I think a good portion of it will be a good part of having a good follow-up album would just be trimming down that fat. Definitely, experimenting more, trying some new things. But yeah, just want to see it really put that effort in.
Yeah.
So let's talk then. What were your favorite tracks on the album? What stood out to you?
Self-Made is my favorite track. I kind of there's a little bit of arrogance in that track. And I don't know, I think some of the rhymes he has there are good, Just want to fall in him, Terry, and eat a jersey, something like that.
I knew you
There's one
that,
icy hot Wayne Gretzky, I like that part.
Yeah, no, it definitely it's a very glitzy beat, and it definitely it has a lot of energy to it. I would say Tiller when he kind of has that braggadocious, confident rap kind of thing. That's definitely probably my favorite style from him. For me, kind of going with that style, the songs that I enjoyed more were Blowing Smoke and Money Problems.
Yeah, Money Problems, Ben Struck, which is the longest song on the album. I think it's a double song, so that song, both parts are very good. Another one I liked was, You Got It was a good one, I thought.
I don't remember what that was.
She's a bad little thing, true religion.
No, I didn't really like that one too much.
I like High Stakes was another one I liked.
High Stakes I like. Yeah, it's too short, but I really like his verses in there. I wake up with a big roof over my head. Yeah, used to be the roof of it's just that putting that emotion into his songs, I think, is what made Trap Soul so good. And he definitely still has a lot of emotion on this album. Yeah. But it's a lot less intense and I feel authentic. Yeah. Except for songs like that. Yeah.
Really, you trim off 7 songs here. You maybe make a couple of the better ones longer, and you've got a good album. Yeah. There's just too much that I'm not going to revisit on this album.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Don't Get Too High. Another great one.
I was thinking Something Tells Me, which is one of the singles, or the only single.
The only single that made it to the album. Yeah, that was a good one. I feel like I like when people, especially when they have, longer albums, I suppose, when they put the singles closer to the bottom.
Yeah, so it's not like you open it I already heard this. Like the Weeknd's album, the first 4 songs are all singles.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think it actually works really well in the context of this album. It's a basically closer track. I think it's 1 or maybe 2
There's an outro, that's it.
Yeah, so it's it works really well to close out the album. Yeah. So I think that's a cool dichotomy that was able to work on the radio and really well in context.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing to note, no features on this album, just like Trap Soul. So interesting. Yeah, he's elected not to go with features in any of his albums so far.
He can hold his own, and I think that's really admirable.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the track with Young Doug that he put out before it didn't make the album was very good. Could have been an album track, I don't know. But
for sure. I don't remember it too well, to be honest.
I mean, Tiller doesn't really do features himself either. You don't see him anywhere. So he was on DJ Khaled.
He doesn't even do interviews with cameras.
You don't see the anywhere.
He's always, just calling in on phone or wherever.
Interesting, right?
He even says at points that he doesn't really like fame. He just wants to go to Target without being interrupted.
True, he did say that. So I mean,
so it's just kind of interesting to see someone with that kind of persona making such I guess straightforward, confident music.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have a point here. It's just kind of interesting.
Yeah. All right. So where do you want to see him go next?
Honestly, I same as I was saying before this album came out. I just want to see him really, especially after this album. He has to expand his sound. I enjoy the Trap Soul sound, but I need more. I need to see him grow as a performer, as a recording artist, and there's a whole world of music out there to draw influence from, and I feel like he's got a very small pool. Yeah, he's been using.
Yeah, see, right now I think he's probably number 2 on my R&B favorite artists. I think The Weeknd's number 1, and then because The Weeknd just has that sound down pat. And everything he's done has been extremely good, no matter what he's trying to do, whether it's a mainstream pop album, kind of like his last 2, or before that with the trilogy. And then you have Tiller, who does something similar, where he has like the R&B sound, he can sing, he can rap, which is, I think, one thing I look for in songs, is rapping, like singing hooks and rapping along with it. I think that's just like a really good concept that they have there, and Tiller does that very well. But I want to see him do something else, like what you're saying. I see he's kind of going to get played out if he continues to use the same sound over and over again.
Yeah.
Because he can only put out so many albums that sound the same before people stop listening to you. So I'd like to see him try to switch it up next album and see what he can do,
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he's capable of more than what he's doing right now.
Oh, definitely. So we look forward to it. Hope he hears criticism like this and continues to grow. And when the next album comes out, we'll give it a listen. So
this was another episode of Beat Freaks.
Beat Freaks.
They've changed too. Listen to them. They've changed over time. It's incredible.
Yeah.
The evolution of Kendrick's gunshot noises.
It's a very all itself.
Yeah.
Whole
if his voice changes over time, then obviously his gunshots are gonna change over time too.
Yeah, of course.